confusion and order? Or is it disorder? Let's go to work. This one has a subtitle of When Scripture / Shepherds Collide. The sheep are suffering. The sheep are scattered. The sheep has become mentally and spiritually confused. But it says, woe unto the shepherd that scatter my sheep. Or something like that, right? I think we need to start taking a deeper look into that. Here's why. We look at the word scatter, means to just separate them. And we've seen a lot of separation, and no one cares that they are separated and or displaced for whatever reason. But that doesn't mean just to separate or be displaced. This is direct and indirect. More importantly, we must never forget that it is implying that if you mentally scatter my sheep, if you physically scatter my sheep, if you spiritually scatter and or displace my sheep, there's a problem. But this war that's going on when Scripture and shepherds collide, it destroys. And as the blind continue to fight, the conditioned, the programmed, the mute sheep just become collateral damage. But the wiser of the few that decide to remove themselves from the confusion and the disorder, they remove themselves from the battlefield and they still become targets because they know better. And they're often ostracized by both shepherds that are colliding. Make that make sense. But one thing's for sure is that the shepherd and or the shepherds are too damn stubborn, too damn ignorant, too damn cocky to realize that they themselves are or have become the destroyers of the kingdom. The word is the word, whether you believe it or not. And some of the sheep can read. They can read. However, it's only a matter of time before they all begin to dwindle away. Whether you see it or not, or whether you want to acknowledge it or not, there are some things that are picked apart between 1 Corinthians 14:33 and 1 Corinthians 14:40. We might as well call it, Welcome to Bible King. Can I take your order, please? Can you hold verse 35, 36, and 37? I don't want that. That doesn't apply to me. I don't want to take that and eat it. I just want to use the top bun, which is 1433. Confusion. And use the bottom bun. Let everything be done in decency and in order. Well, neither one of those can apply without 34 and 39. You are wasting the scripture's time. But the only reason that some of them haven't dwindled away is because your stronger ones haven't left. They are the barriers and the glue that keeps everything together. They're simply hoping for some degree of change. More importantly, they're the sponge between some of the hard-headed ones and the weaker ones. But when and if your support beams ever leave, so will your structure. The analogy I use of the shepherd is only used because I'm using biblical terminology. But this just doesn't apply to biblical teachings. This also applies to everyday life. See, in life, we have people who always want to be on top. We have people that want to be acknowledged because they began a thing or they started a thing or they are at the pinnacle of that thing. But none of that stuff really matters because it is the people, it is the sheep, it is the workers that remain and help you build and or build it all for you. Let it sink in. But somehow, we don't keep them at the forefront of our mind, of the process. And this is the art and the science that has been lost and confused or ignored. Want a better term? We look at ourselves as a pyramid, but we are doing it wrong because you should be considered a pyramid upside down. But when you want to be right side up, you become too busy and too eager, wanting to be seen from the top. Yet, you cry and complain when your asses get struck by lightning. Let it sink in. It's time to get grounded. However you may do it. It's time. We're not building buildings. We're definitely not building kingdoms. We're just scattering sheep. It doesn't matter what scripture you choose to use to exonerate anything that I'm saying. It won't matter. At the end of the day, if you're warring and colliding with each other, you're scattering sheep. That stain will definitely always be on our hands. So, to the sheep, if you can listen. 1 Corinthians 14:33 says, and I quote, God is not the author of confusion. God is not. So when there's any ounce of confusion present without any immediate resolution and no acts to restore order immediately in anything that's done or said, if you remain, it's your fault. It's yours. Because 33 told you specifically, God told you what he wasn't. He's also proving to you what man is. But as we continue to use this thing we call the internet, look at the snares that it truly causes. Confusion and order, or confusion and disorder. When scriptures and shepherds collide. At the end of the day, it's not about us. It's about the sheep. Maybe we have forgotten. Bah.